Welcome to SolidCAM Professor. I'm Sydney, your SolidCAM Professor, with one of many videos available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In this recording, we'll be showing you the new multi-axis simultaneous option of port machining. If we take a look at the part on the screen, we have this pipe over here, which is at an angle, and the inside of it has to be machined out. This is done by port machining. Now, when we used to do this with a 5-axis simultaneous operation, there were many factors that you had to take into account, such as gouging, a lot of guesswork. It was kind of difficult to get the exact type of operation that you needed. With port machining, we've made this a lot easier. If we take a look at the section of the part itself, you'll see that this part over here, this area over here inside, has to be milled out, and this is the actual path that the tool has to take. So we'll first go into our first operation that I have over here, and we'll see exactly what parameters you need to deal with in order to machine this out. First of all, we have the port machining, and we have the option of roughing, rest rough, and then our finishing is either done with spiral finish or plunge finishing. Let's first start with the roughing. If we take a look at the roughing, we go to our geometry. In our geometry, we have to deal with only two things. One is the surface itself that we want to machine, as shown over here, picking the inside surface. And the second is the actual spine that has to be chosen, which is this geometry over there. Now, since port machining is done with a lollipop tool, the tool that we'll be using will be a lollipop mill. I'll go directly now to our toolpath parameters, and we'll go into our sorting. If we go into our sorting, you can see we actually have different ways of machining. What we have to do is actually machine this from both sides, both from this side and from this side. We have the option of machining to. We have also outer output type. And in this particular case, we have both top or bottom. We'll be using both to mill it out from both sides. Now, we also have the choice of to machine up until a specific point. We can either do user defined, maximum from top, maximum from bottom, or to the midpoint itself. Let's do at this point user defined. When we use user defined, all we have to do is deal with the slider over here. We can move this up or down as shown over here, as far as the percentage that we want to have, that we want to machine out. And the same thing with the bottom as well as working climb cutting or conventional. Let's take a look at the simulation, and I'll run the simulation slowly. You'll see that the tool will go down inside the part, roughing out the inside, and then stepping down each time. We'll go a little faster now, and you see as it goes further down, and let's stop, it starts tilting, but make sure that it does not gouge. You'll note that I did not put any gouge control on the tool itself. This was done automatically within the options of port machining. You do not have to deal with the gouging option at all. You'll note now that it's going down as far as I wanted it to, as far as it can, and then automatically goes to the other side and mills out exactly up until the point where it was able to mill out to. Now, in our next operation, we'd like to do a rest rough operation that will clear out this middle area over here. So if I were to go into that next operation, you'll see I've used the option of rest roughing. I'll be using again the lollipop tool, and in my toolpath parameters, this time if I go into my sorting, I'll be using midpoint. When I use midpoint, these are inactive. You cannot use these at this point. It's going actually up until the midpoint, and again I'll be working on both sides. Let's run our simulation again on the part, and this time what you'll see is that the tool will work on one side and then on the other side as far as it can work, going up until the halfway mark inside that area over there. and only working in this area because this is a rest rough operation. Now, in my next two operations, I'll be showing you the finishing options. The first one showing you the spiral finish option. The second one showing the plunge finish option. Let's first go into the spiral finish option. You'll see that we'll be using the option of spiral finish. Again, the lollipop tool. And if we go into our toolpath parameters, we have our maximum step over. And again, we can go into our sorting, and I'll be working up until the midpoint. If we take a look at the simulation, and this time I'll take a look at the machine simulation, you'll see that the tool goes into the part and starts giving a spiral cut inside the material over there. Now, since it's working on a rotary table, in a moment, you'll note that since it has to start tilting, it'll actually start turning the table itself, as shown over here. And this actually starts tilting also back and forth according to the position, automatically working its way down into the part. Now, let me speed this up a little more. And you can see it'll keep on going down, and in a moment, you'll note that this is getting very close towards the edge over here. When that happens, you'll note that we actually have it changing, going up and down over here, doing the maximum that it actually can, starting now its actual port machining as needed inside the pipe itself. When it gets to its maximum point, it'll then change automatically to the other side as shown over here. Now it's working on this side, and it's going to do the same up until over here. Since now, however, it's not working on a rotary table, so it works exactly the way it needs to work in order to get to the deepest part inside the pipe itself, machining away all that material. Another option that we have for finishing is plunge finish. It is sometimes preferred to actually plunge into the part itself rather than spin around because the shank of the tool could be relatively thin, and working up and down puts less pressure on the shank. Sometimes it's preferred actually working in this manner. So we have the option of plunge finishing. Again, the exact same tool, the exact same parameters that we have over here. And let's just quickly again run our simulation. And again, if I run my simulation, you'll see that it's actually now plunging into the part, going up and down on the wall itself as shown over here. It'll finish it on one side, and just like before, it'll then move over to the other side, completing that side as far down as it can actually go into the part itself. Finishing this side as shown over here. And now moving to the other side to finish off this side over here as well. For more videos on SolidCAM Professor, please go to our website, www.solidcam.com, and look for the tab called SolidCAM Professor. Thank you for joining us on SolidCAM Professor. Take care and have a nice day.